You need a website.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Okay. So I am back. Let's see if this works. Checkity check, 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 check. You should be able to hear Julian as well. Squawking. Alright. Alright, so I just had to reboot the, Okay. I don't know about beautiful, but, let's try that again. It's Alexis here, and I go by the name Alexis Yousician in the Yousician Guitar Learning app. Whoops. And basically, if you haven't played Yousician, there is a download link in the description box. And every week they do weekly challenges, and basically that's what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play through all the weekly challenges songs and break them down to help you guys out to learn how to play them and get your gold stars. So, okay, a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're up and running now, so let me try the very first song. Let's get to it.
Perfect. Keep on rocking like this.
Okay, so pretty easy one. First shot. There's your leaderboard. Not a whole lot going on that one. This would be a good one to practice your muting after each note. I'm muting with, I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later, but I'm muting with my right hand as well as my left hand. A lot of people will suggest doing only one, like only with your left hand or only your right hand. With distortion, I tend to mute with both hands to basically, just a security thing. If my right hand doesn't mute properly, my left hand will probably cover it, versus only doing one hand. If I don't do it properly, there's a chance a note can come out. So I'm doing that as well as a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time I'm resting my right hand on the strings as well as taking all of my fingers and resting it on the strings. Okay, no offbeats, no nothing with that one, so pretty straightforward, just learn the song. So let's try the next one.
just tripled your daily goal. Great job.
Hello, James. Okay, let me try that again. I'm just making silly mistakes.
Are you sure your guitar is in tune?
Okay, so there's your scoreboard. A lot of perfect scores. There's Mike. Alright, so what's going on with this one? A couple of parts, actually. I'll just go into practice mode here. This is straight up power chords, so I mean, not much to talk about there. Oh, this is fairly easy. Power chords, power chords, power chords. Where am I here? Here we go. As soon as it starts to get to this part here, then we start getting with the eighth notes and playing a little bit faster. So, also starting on beat 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that might be a little bit weird starting on beat 2. And then this final thing, what I'm doing, and there's string skipping in this one as well, so that might be a little bit difficult, but this final thing I'm doing, I've talked about it before, this whole foldy thing where my finger's up like this on the 6th string, and then I fold it down for the 5th string, up, down, so versus switching. You can do both, but that's just the way I'm doing it, because in the end you go which you're probably going to get better recognition if you separate those versus holding both of those notes down. So, but other than that, there's not a whole lot with this one to talk about. Because there's half notes here, and there's 2 beats on each one, it pretty much gives you enough time, I think, to prepare for the next note. If it was all quarter notes, then it might be a different story. So, anyway, third one.
Well done. You can continue to the next
Okay,
exercise.
so that was the first time I've played through that. So as you can see, I'm learning on the fly. As far as that wasn't a great run. There are some things of note with this one that I will break down in a bit. But I think I'm going to do another run just to get the song in my head a little bit better. And I see Mike has showed up. Hello, Mike. He claimed he wouldn't be able to come, but he's here, so thanks for coming. Thanks for everybody for coming. We've got Craig, we've got Kawhi, we've got Seeker of the Way, Jervis, Ariel, and guitar player, and a number of other people. So thanks for coming out for the chat. Pretty cool. Thanks, guys. Let me play through this one again, and I'll break it down.
Well done. You can continue to the next exercise.
Okay, so still not the greatest run, but whatevs. I can live with that. So, woo. Here's your scoreboard. I will spend some time on this later. Getting this into my head. So there's a couple of things I want to break down here. I'll bring it into practice mode. So, beginning part, pretty easy. Right there, you need to make a choice of which finger that you're using. You could bar this. I choose to use my fourth finger, third finger, and fourth finger. Okay, so a little bit of quirky fingerings in this one, so you might need to spend some time preparing ahead of time, like mapping out what finger you're going to do ahead of time, because there's some awkwardness to this. Like that right there. That string skip and kind of stretchy with your first finger, fourth finger. That's a bit awkward. And then the eighth note's the fast eighth notes here. And that's a gallop, used a lot in metal. Position shifts, so I'm playing with my first finger at the 3rd fret. And as soon as I get to this one here, I'm going to slide up 1 fret. And then do another position shift. So I'm thinking this is 3 different positions. This one's here, 3rd fret. So position is wherever your first finger is. I'm thinking first section, my first finger is at the 3rd fret. Next section, slide up a fret to the 4th fret. And then this part, slide up another fret to the 5th fret. Let me take a look at the next part. Another position shift I take and just go back to 3rd fret. So that entire section I would think of all as 3rd position with your 1st finger at the 3rd fret. I'll just run through that again just so you can see. Just watch my hand. This entire section is going to be with my 1st finger at the 3rd fret. And then this is called a diminished 7th arpeggio, and essentially, never mind the name of it, it's just a pattern. So it's going to be 1st finger, 4th finger, 1st finger, 4th finger, except playing that pattern, which is called a minor 3rd, and shifting it up 1 fret on the next string. So so that part there, some awkwardness as well. Let me just do that again. Okay, so I'm thinking of that. It's either a slide or if it's a position, like just stretching. So kind of a little bit of weird left to right movement there. So a bit awkward. And big jump, string skip, and then use that open string as mental preparation to get in position for the next note. So you have, so your eyes should be, as you play that note, looking at the 1st fret. So let me do that again. Okay, so tricky part here. I'm not even sure what fingering I would totally use, but I'm thinking probably what I would end up doing is 2nd finger this whole thing here like this. So 2nd finger 3rd string, 3rd finger 2nd string, and then actually no, I probably wouldn't do that. Give me a second. I think the best way to do that would be 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 3rd finger on the 2nd string, back to 2nd finger, and then 3rd finger again on the 1st string. That way you can do this, 3rd finger, 4th finger. So that's probably how I'd end up doing this part. And then you're going to do a position shift right here from the 2nd, oops, from this. I'm going to position shift up. So I'm having a little bit of trouble programming that in my fingers, so let me try that. There's a bit of an awkward part as well. because you're sliding up. Bit of a jump there, bit awkward. Okay, so I would spend some time doing that part. That's just a little bit jumpy for your left hand. And then that part, again, that gallop. Kawaii Dragon is taken off. He's going to bed. Thanks for coming up, man. Yeah, where am I? I'm not going to do that one again. I think I've pretty much covered that. I can improve my scores later on. Let's do the fun one, the level 11, which, in my opinion, I think is a little overrated. I don't know if I would call this an 11. It's not really that hard, but that's just me. Let's try it.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Not bad, just a couple of silly mistakes. I think I should be able to nail that, though. I might give it one more try. Yeah, I'll do one more, and then I'll break it down. So 14th, not great. I'll do one more, and then if I can't nail it, I can't nail it. I'm okay with that. Regarding difficulty level, I think Craig is spot on in that as soon as you get to the higher levels, things start to get personal in the sense of it's getting personal. No, things start to get like your personal things that you find easy might be difficult for someone else. So it's really hard to grade any piece of music for any instrument as soon as you got to the higher levels, because it's just everyone has their quirks, everyone has their tendencies that they find easy or difficult. So yeah, again, in my opinion, it shouldn't be in a level 11, but somebody else might find that this is pretty accurate for that level. So it's tough to decide which it is. So here we go.
almost perfect.
That's a lot of stars.
Next
Awesome
time,
playing.
you'll nail it.
That's kind of annoying to have both of those audio things happening at the same time. It's a bit of a, and it's loud. Anyway, didn't really improve my score that much. I'm just making silly mistakes. But let me break down. So, right out of the gate here, 16th note, so 4 notes in the beat. This is a perfect example of, it's pretty easy to break this down into chunks. For example, this very first part. So just taking that and working on your alternate picking. This is something that I've practiced a lot of in scale passages, so I might take something like this and then move it to a different place. Okay, so I've practiced a lot of patterns like this, so that's why this is not terribly difficult for me, and it's just, it feels familiar. So, same thing with that one. So that's the next sort of lick. And there's another one. That's from another classical piece as well. Can't remember the piece of the name of it, but it's also that's also somewhere in Flight of the Bumblebee. That kind of concept. That kind of idea. So, same exact. So we have a theme here. So I would take each one of those and think of them as separate things. Simple melody line. Repeat. I won't go through that. Skip through that. Simple melody line here. 1 16th note part. So there's a chunk that you can take. So, you might even want to turn that into a perfect loop in the sense of, instead of having that long note at the end, just turning it into, actually no, you probably wouldn't, because that's a weird number of notes. That's 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So that's a bit awkward, so making it and stopping there is probably the better way to do it. So again, turning it into little, tiny little loops. What else we got? Whoops. Yeah. Same concept. Obviously, you're going to slow this down. Try to make sure your alternate picking strictly all the way through, down, up, down, up. I'm economy picking, that's a whole other story, but for you, I'd suggest down, up, down, up, down. And then we're back to the beginning. Okay, so if you'll notice, I'm doing quick little checks with my eyes to just get the fret right, so. And right there on that long note, I'm just quickly looking so I can get my bearings and nail that note. Okay, I've covered that. That's a repeat. And then the new section. So I should talk about that a little bit. I'm in the minority as far as what fingers to use or what finger to use for that. Most people will use their second finger. Okay, so if you're using your second finger, don't change it. Don't change it to what I'm doing. It doesn't really matter in this instance. Use whichever is comfortable, but the second finger is definitely the more common one. I'm the weird one in the sense that I prefer my third finger. There's that little foldy thing from the 2 5s, from the 5th fret, 2nd string, and then 5th fret, 1st string. And then the fun part. This is simply planning. You have to have this part really... I have it memorized, so that's what I would strongly suggest, is trying to get this memorized so that you can just look at your fretboard instead of looking at the tab. And same thing, breaking it out down into parts. Again, you might prefer your second finger. So again, it's just open strings in between. Oops. Open string, open string, open string. And then this part's pretty awkward because it's a position shift. You're jumping down. I haven't been doing that, but I should be, which is, and then position shifting to third finger here, and then first finger, and then position shifting back up to fifth fret with the first finger. Okay, so that's that. A little bit awkward thing where you have to do folding. Well, I can't fold that finger over, but I'm sort of rolling it to get those two sevens, 7th fret, 7th fret, kind of awkward. And then rolling my second finger for those two on the 5th fret. Roll, roll. And that's pretty much it. So there you go. I'm going to do one more try of this one. how many times you're gonna make that silly mistake.
Almost perfect.
Oh, well.
Next time, you'll nail it.
I can fix that later. Anyway, that's that. Fun song. I think it's mostly, again, for me, what is easy for me. I don't find that one terribly difficult. I just find it fun to play. So I'm going to switch over to bass. I'll mute things so you don't hear any noise. Okay, Thunder asks if I do only lead. Nope. Pretty much can't. You aren't going to get very far if you only do lead. So if you look at some of my videos, there's a lot of. Actually, the last couple of videos ago, I did House of the Rising Sun, which is it's just all rhythm guitar. There is no lead in that one, and a lot of or actually Love on the Rocks, I do both the lead and the rhythm parts in that video. And a lot of my videos I do that. I do the rhythm parts as well as the lead parts. I put them all, all into the one video. So not always, but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty bad idea to only learn lead or only learn rhythm, I think, in my opinion. I think you should have at least some ability to do either. Obviously, if you're going to specialize in rhythm, there's nothing wrong with that if you're going to specialize in lead. But as a general rule, I don't believe in, being a lead player, only a lead player. I mean, I'm working on my rhythm, tons all of the time on my rhythm playing. So I don't consider myself a lead guitar player. I consider myself, a guitar player, and I try to learn, all aspects of it as much as, well, not all, both rhythm and lead as equally as I possibly can. So, and even in this app, I ended up finishing the lead path or the rhythm path before I finished the lead path. So, I don't consider myself a lead guitar player so much as a guitar player. And actually, you can look it up. Even the submission that I had for the song contest, you can look up Infected Wisdom Rhythm, and you'll have the rhythm track for that one as well. Anyway, we're going to do one song, the hard song on the bass challenge, and this one here is pretty tough for me to play because there's some stretches and some string skipping with my right hand, and I'm not that great with my string skipping for my right hand. So let's see how this goes.
almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Okay, so there's something a little bit weird. I'm gonna have to check my settings later on. There's something a little bit weird that's going on with the sound here, in the sense that I'm getting... Actually, I might be able to fix that. Nope. For some reason, it's like the sound of the game is coming through my Helix, which is my effects processor, which it shouldn't be happening that way, but it is. So I will try to fix that for next time. But as it is, for whatever reason, I can't turn up my bass. It's a little on the quiet side, but I can't. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to sort that out after this stream. Okay, what's going on with this one? The gallop, the infamous gallop. So that is a little bit tricky. I'm not great with it. So that kind of idea. I'm alternating which finger I start with. Some people will find it more comfortable to always start the beginning of the gallop with their index finger or their I finger, going I am, I am, I am. I'm doing I am, I am, I am, I. Is that the best way to do it? Not necessarily. I should probably work on... That is probably the better way. I'm not entirely sold on each, but I'm not really a bass player, so if someone would argue that is not the best way to play it, I wouldn't necessarily argue against them. So if Paul is in the stream, maybe he has some input on that. Anyway, let's see here. There's really nothing there. Just more galloping, gallop, 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 gallop. Some stretches though. Well, at least for a lot of position shifts, and I am not comfortable with bass position shifts just because it's such a, the frets are wider. This is my favorite part of the whole thing, right here. Okay, so 16th notes. Paul mentioned the three-finger thing for the gallop. That's not entirely... There's different ways you could do that gallop for three fingers. But again, I'm not going to get into it. You could actually do three fingers for this part, which some classical players do, and I mostly play the bass to try to improve my right hand for classical. So that's another option for this one, is going I am, A M, I am, A M for the 16th notes. I am, A M, I am, A M. I don't even know if I could do that, so let me try that. I can do it. It's not very good, but I can do it. And that's the part that I kind of suck at. Bah. Okay, again, I'm using my third finger. You might want to use your second. I need to work on that. And this part I hate because of the, again, position shifts. and string skipping, which I'm not very good at with my right hand. Yeah. Same left hand idea that I do with that foldy thumb, index finger. You could switch, but that's the way I do it. So question was asked, why do I have 5 strings but Yousician does 4? 4 is the most common for bass. So simply as that. I have a 5 string. I have a low B. But it's just not that common. Not a lot of people play 5 strings, so it just makes sense to, and you know, it would kind of alienate some people if you put 5-string bass songs into challenges, at least into weekly challenges or even missions, if you don't have a 5-string bass. That's a little unfair, so that's why that's happening. Okay, so there was a poll in the Yousician Facebook friends. If you aren't a member of that, you should join that. There's a link in the description box. There was a poll on what song I should do, and one of them ended up being one of my favorites, but one of the ones that's really, really, really difficult to play. I haven't gold starred it, and I've been playing it for a long time. Now, having said that, have I seriously worked on this one? To be honest, no, I haven't. And the song is... it's not in my history. Why not? Not sure why. Is a Mr. Fastfinger song. A Wacky Wacky. And it's just hard. Level 13. I'm going to start off with the rhythm. I'll do both parts. See, I haven't even finished off the rhythm one. And yeah, it's just hard, and I'll explain why it's hard in a bit. So let me switch up back to guitar, and I'll mute for that. Okay, and before I get into it, I wanted to talk about rhythm. Or, sorry, not rhythm. I wanted to talk about muting. Muting, playing with distortion really helps out your muting, because all it takes to get noise is that. Distortion brings out basically any garbage in your playing. So, my clean playing and my acoustic playing got a lot better playing with distortion. So there's some, in my opinion, some bad advice out there about playing with distortion, and it gets repeated a lot, which is never practice with distortion. It just covers up your mistakes, and I completely disagree with that. If anything, distortion amplifies your mistakes. It makes your mistakes sound 10 times worse. So it forces you to deal with that by muting. So a lot of the lousy sounds that you'll get with distortion is because you're not muting properly. So if I play this note, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's just dirt along with that because I'm not muting properly. Hear that sort of garbly noise? Versus if I mute, I'm taking my hand and I'm laying it across the strings. It's just a cleaner sound. Now, that stuff doesn't sound as bad on acoustic guitar, clean tones, but it makes a huge difference in the sense of there's a subconscious perception of how pleasant what you're playing sounds, the cleaner it is. So any bit of just muck in your playing, again, the more distortion you add, the worse it is. So, especially if I play through a scale like this. Sounds pretty awful. So the cleaner you play, even with a clean sound without distortion, the better it sounds. So what I'm doing there is I'm muting with my right hand. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but basically the point that I wanted to make is that the cleaner you play, the more you mute, the cleaner you play. And it doesn't matter if you're playing with or without distortion. It comes across and it just makes the music, the emotion of the music come through a lot clearer. So I'm not going to talk about the technique so much, but just to stress that you should try to, at some point, you know, if you feel like your playing is not that great, or you can play the notes but it doesn't sound great from an aesthetic value, it's probably because you're just not muting. So that's something to take into consideration, and it will carry over to your acoustic playing and clean playing. Paul's taken off. Thanks for coming up, man. Thanks for the insights for the three-finger thing. That's something that I'm not very good at, and I probably should at least work on it as an exercise to improve my right hand for bass playing and classical. Anyways, let's do the rhythm one, and then I'll do the lead one for a wacky wacky.
It's time for rehearsing.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Not the greatest run. I keep making silly mistakes on this section here. Let me see if I can pull this one off. I'll do one try and then I'll go to the lead one.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll
Wow,
nail it.
that's a lot of stars. Awesome playing.
So, not going to happen today. All right, the hard part. I'm just going to change something here. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is not going to be pretty.
It's time for rehearsing. It's time for rehearsing. Once again, use your whole body. You are going nowhere. Hit focus.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Okay, so not a great run. So what's going on here? Let me explain this. And I don't think a lot of people have played this one. This one's just hard. Really, really, really tough one to learn. So, in a nutshell, it's, for me at least, it's one thing that gets me with this, and it's position shifts. I haven't spent enough time practicing this one in the sense of what I need to do to get better at it. So what do I need to do? It's essentially this awkward position shift where you're doing this part here. That last note, which ends that lick, is your fourth finger. To play the next part, you have to take the same finger and jump to a note all the way up to the 15th fret. So that's easy in the sense that it's just a loop. You don't have to think very much. It's just the same thing over and over again. But the problem is that we've ended off on our first finger for this lick, and we have to jump back to the previous one, which starts off with our first finger. So when you have to end one lick, position shift, and do the exact same finger, that's really, really tricky. So you've ended off on this note, and then you just have to jump to this fret and nail that same note. Yeah. That's just really awkward. Same thing is happening later on when you go up an octave. End off with the fourth finger, and then you have to jump to the 15th fret. End off with your first finger, and you have to jump all the way up to the 7th fret. So I've basically turned this into an exercise where I'm doing these position shifts, where I slow it down. And the way that I'm doing it is I'm doing all 3 licks combined. That's what I need to do. I need to practice more, but to play that speed is just, it's hard. But it's frustrating because the licks in and of themselves I can do. So I can do those, but it's the position shifts just mess me up. So that's where all of my reds are coming. So, and if you look at the section that I'm messing up, it's those sections. These are the 2 spots that, or the 3 spots that I can't gold star are, or on a consistent basis. I think I've gold starred the ending, but I think that was a fluke. But this section here and this section here, it's that same thing. It's just silly mistakes. This part here is actually tricky as well. So, yeah, tough one. So that was voted for me to play in a poll in the Yousicians Friends Facebook group. So there you have it. I imagine there may not be other polls making me do other crazy, insane stuff. So there's that one there. And then what else? There were some questions in the Facebook group that I wanted to answer. And I'm not sure if... Oh, someone asked about Shanghai Future City. So that one there, it's awkward because for a couple of reasons. One, it's just non-stop notes. It's just there's no break. It's not in my brain yet. Such an awkward one. A lot of awkward fingerings. And I would take this and I would turn these into patterns. It's already pretty easy to get the first part as a pattern because it is a pattern, it is a loop, but you have to do it on your own for these other parts. So this beginning part is pretty easy. And then you could split that into two. And then the second one. So those are those two licks. Let me switch to practice mode so I can scan here. Here we go. That's probably the hardest part of the song right there, is a switch up. Right here, you have to go. That one part where you have to go. So it's just like you're doing this pattern and you're set and you're cruising along, and all of a sudden there's just this one note, this one section that they switch it up on you, and it, you know, makes me flub it. So, and then this part is rhythmically is pretty tricky. No, I'm thinking of the next section. Never mind. Pretty tough. Someone got booted. I don't know why. I'll have to. I don't know, a whole bunch of message deleted, message deleted, message deleted. I don't exactly know what happened, but something happened. Anyway, let's continue on. Anyway, I'm gonna do a run of this and see how it goes.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
I basically forgot what that part was. Let me take a look. Previous section. Anyway, that's a cool one. Did I show leaderboards? I don't remember. Anyway, there we go. Fun one, but tricky. I think I will do one last thing, and then I'll wrap it up for today. I think I've done quite a few things today. I'll let you see. Here's one thing I'll let you see. I'll let you see sort of my routine. Really, actually, just I'll talk about the collections things. The collections is a pretty cool feature for this. It really helps for, organizing things into little sections. So I have a little down picking section where it's, down picking stuff that for me I find difficult, and it's really good for rhythm playing. That ties into someone in the stream asking about rhythm guitar playing. Well, this is for at least metal rock rhythm style playing of doing down picking. So here's all the songs that I have in that section there that help me with my down picking. And then I have, these are my exercises that I've uploaded. Some of them aren't public, so you won't be able to search some of these, but this is sort of the routine, one of the routines that I go through. So I love this feature. I've been whining and annoyingly complaining about this for ever since GuitarBots, that I wish there was a way to organize all of your uploads, and this is like huge for me. I'm so happy that that this is in the app now. So so I have a bunch of sweep picking, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 6 string. I don't know why it's out of order there. Exercises, John Petrucci, string skipping, and all that stuff. So this is sort of my personal thing, and I actually have, now that the collections are there, I want to organize it even more, so that I'll make a collection of sweep picking exercises, scale type exercises of sequences, and whatnot. But the first thing that I was practicing was a sequencing thing, a marathon that I did there, and I have a whole bunch of other sort of sequencing things that I need to work on. I'll play this one, and this won't, don't think I'll be able to pull this one off. I haven't played this one in a while.
Perfect. Keep on rocking like this.
I should probably re-upload that one with a longer count in, because it's too short. I'm like pushing play and then trying to get ready for it, and it's just too fast. Let's see. What was another song that was sort of let's see here. I'll do one last thing. Here's my sweep picking. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's long. Actually, I'll do a shorter one. This one isn't quite as long. So again, this is what's awesome about this app, is that you can put exercises into it. And this is my exercise. This isn't anything I've got on the internet. I wrote it for myself. So it's helping me work on my personal weaknesses. So that's one of the things I really, really like about this app is just your ability to put, your own exercises into it. Okay, so
Well done. You can
That was-
continue to the next exercise.
that was purely mental breakdown. It's just I was having a really good run there, and then my brain just went, "Sorry, don't want to work anymore." So, but that's pretty long. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Unless you guys have any suggestions, I think I'm gonna call her quits for today. I have a new video coming out on Wednesday, and I need to shoot that. I've got a lot of the work done as far as getting things set up for that one, but still have some video to shoot for that one. Yes, I am dead mentally. So it's just at the end, my brain just said, "I'm done. I'm quitting. I can't go anymore," even though I was only like 2 measures left to do there. So anyway, it happens to all of us. It's not just you. Pretty much wraps it up, and I'm going to get to work on my next video. Thanks for coming, guys. If you haven't tried the Yousician app, there is a download link in the description box. Thanks for coming out. This will be the new time for for the Sunday stream, so 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, we'll see if there'll be any other requests for next week in the Facebook Yousician Friends group. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll see you next time.